Okay, my presentation is talk about the crop rotations. It's not the molecular, it's about the soil. Is it? I'm talking about the no, it's, like this. I'm talking about the crop system about the ecosystem, not about the microbe, not about the genes. So my topic is about diversifying crop rotation, increase crop production, reducing the net greenhouse gas emissions, and improving the soil health. It's a lot of keywords here. I'm Xiaolin Yang from China Agricultural University. So let me give you a very little, very brief introduction about me. So I graduated from China Agricultural University and have 3 years overseas studying. My keywords is for focus on the cropping systems like the rotations, the intercropping, and the cover crop. My research content is talking about the soil water, the carbon, the soil health we use in the field experiment with the modeling simulations. So I also take up a lot of editors during my life careers. And now today I will give my stories. My research focuses on the North China Plain and the northwest of China. And they are all lack of water. And so today, I just give a story focus on North China Plain. In this area, it is most important food production, cereal production area for the whole China. It can contribute 25% cereal production, like wheat and maize for the whole China. But in this area, there has a serious problem for the groundwater table decline and a lot of nitrogen fertilizer input caused the very serious greenhouse gas emissions and also lead to the poor soil qualities. So today, I just give a brief story about the how to get a new or the good crop rotations to instead the traditional cropping systems can save in water, can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, can improve the soil health, and why. Maybe we're using the soil microbe to explain why. And I also did a lot of experiments on the northwest of China. This is another very dry land in China. The precipitation of the whole year is only 100 to 300 millimeter. But today I give a talk focused on the North China Plain. It is much better, but it is still lack of water. It's about 400 to 600 millimeter precipitation per year. But the serious problem is the groundwater table is declining. So I gave the 3 parts. The first part is we're trying to looking for the new diversified crop rotation, which can reduce the groundwater table decline, also can improve the economic sustainability of food production. In this area, we build up 3 long-term field experiments about almost about 10 years and 16 years. Someone is talking about the traditional wind with summer double croppings irrigation schedule, and others we trying to looking for the new diversified crop rotations to instead or replace the traditional water consumption crop rotation. So let's to see our results. Based on the 6 years field experiment, we found that whatever you're using, which irrigation schedule, as long as you irrigated, the groundwater table will be declined. Compared to the rainfall or the farmer practice, we find in the winter wheat growth season using 2 irrigation and summer maize using one irrigation can reduce the irrigation amount about 40% compared to the farmer practice, and or reduce the whole year's water consumption, we call the ET, by almost 20%. Also mitigated the groundwater table decline. And water productivity means water using efficiency also increased 60%. So from this long-term experiment, we want to looking for which irrigation schedule is better for the traditional winter wheat summer maize double cropping. But we found even as long as we irrigated, the groundwater table declined. So we're trying to find the new crop rotations to instead or reduce the whole year's water consumption. So we rotated the legumes like peanut, like soybean. Also, we used the shallow root crop like sweet potatoes in the rotations. We wanted to one part for keep the winter wheat and the summer maize for cereal production. Another part is to using the different previous crops to reduce the water consumption. We found that almost compared to the traditional one, the new rotations almost can receive water about 11 to 30%. So we also find it can mitigate the groundwater table declines, like these triangle areas. And we also find the legume effects if we rotate the legume or the shallow crops before the winter wheat and the summer maize. We find the leaf area index increased, the biomass increased, so the yield and the water use efficiency also yield. So we find that from this long-term experiment, we find the diversified crop rotations can reduce the whole year's water and keep the crop productivity. You will be asked why it can save in the water. We using the stable ice tube to trying to quantify the each crop's root can absorb how much water from the soil. We found that based on the 60 years long-term field experiment, we found that like the shallow root crops like peanut, cotton, sweet potato, it can only using 80 centimeter. I think the minimum water use can using to 0 to 80 centimeter. But like this picture shows, the winter wheat has a very deep root, especially in the dry land. It can reach to 2 meter water. So we using the shallow root crop as the first crop, and then following the deep root crops, it can I think it can make the soil water use complementary from the temporal schedule, also the vertical soil vertical profile. And we found that winter wheat with the deep root increase the soil water use efficiency can increase by 5 to 20% than the shallow root crops. That's the why. And we also using the modeling to see to detect the crop rotations can have the ability or can improve the system resilience or not to the future climate change. We using 80 years in the future climate change data. We found that if we rotated the legume in the crop rotations, it can reduce the cereal yield loss by almost 25 to 50%, because you using different crops in the system, it can increase the system resilience about 20% compared to the monocultures. That's another good proof to prove the crop rotations can have a better ability to adapt to the future climate change. We also using the parental or the methods, optimization methods, we call the farm design model. We designed that. We wanted to using the fieldwork data to upscaling to the regional scaling. We wanted to know if you have a good crop rotations, how to do in the whole North China plain. How about the crop diversification and the configurations? We using this model to do that. We found if we got we set up different functions there, we got the different solutions here. We get some papers out. And the second part, I wanted to show another benefit of the crop rotations about the how if it can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. We call the carbon footprint. So before the carbon footprint, I wanted to show you by 99 years data for the productivity yield, including the yield, economic benefit, and the per ton yield. We find that if compared to the traditional winter wheat summer maize double cropping, we call the monoculture cropping, we rotated the shallow crops like sweet potato or the legume like peanut or the sorghum, like the soybean. We can get more economic benefit and more protein yield. That's why. Why? Because the previous crop like legume can produce the Lego effect, like more nitrogen in the soil for the later crop. And we measured the greenhouse gas emissions like N2O and methane about 9 years. Until now is already 9 years. We wanted to look at which crop rotation has lower greenhouse gas emissions. We found that the red one is the traditional one, had the highest N2O emissions, also the total greenhouse gas emissions, and other crop rotations, diversified rotations, can reduce the cumulative N2O emissions about 50%. But in the dryland, the methane almost zero. The greenhouse gas emissions responsibility is mainly on the N2O. Okay, this is the different years emissions blocks. We can find the pink almost after the big precipitation, the big irrigation, and the fertilizers. And we also got measured the soil carbon stock about 90 centimeter. Nowadays, the researchers almost focus on the tillage soil profile about 20 centimeter or the 30 centimeter. But we think the subsoil, the deep soil, like below the 30 centimeter, also play an important role in soil carbon stocks. So we measured that. We found that if we calculate and considered the 0 to 90 centimeter soil carbon stocks, the total carbon concentration can offset the almost 75 to 80% the whole greenhouse gas emissions. That means if you have a good soil and trying the best to improve the soil carbon stock, it also is a good method or the measurement to adopt the future climate change. And the final one is we got the net greenhouse gas emissions, considering the greenhouse gas emissions and the carbon sequestrations. We found the traditional winter wheat summer maize rotations has almost 10 ton CO2 EQ hectare per year. But others, if we rotate the legume or sweet potato, it can reduce to 2 ton CO2 equivalent hectare per year. It's almost 5 times. So we have the very clear proof to prove the diversified crop rotation can really reduce the whole greenhouse gas emissions and can improve the soil carbon stocks. And we also get the different individual crops like the winter crops, summer crops, and the spring crops, even including the winter fallow winter fallow period greenhouse gas emissions. We found that the summer maize has the highest N2O emissions. But the most key important information is we wanted to show in the North China Plain in the winter season you can keep the bare soil, or also you can use in the winter crop like winter wheat to produce the wheat. Also you can use the cover crop like the ryegrass, just cover the soil, the bare soil. We found that if we using the cover crop like the ryegrass to compare to the fallow, the bare soil, it's almost the same, almost similar N2O. So we commend that in the North China Plain, this area in the winter season is with very dry season. It has high evaporations. We're trying to recommend using cover crop to keep the bare soil to keep to reduce the soil evaporation, and because it has almost the similar N2O emissions, the GWP. Yes, that's the key information. And we also using our data, field experiment data. We calculate the different crops, like 8 crops. We call it is EFD, is direct N2O emission factors. It is very important parameters of IPCC. I think everyone know the IPCC. IPCC using the default parameters of EFD for the global crops N2O emissions calculation. But now we give the very specific field data for the EFD for each crop rotations here. So this paper has a very high citations. And we also summary the greenhouse gas emissions and soil carbon stocks. We call it the carbon footprint. The key information is if we rotated the soil, the shallow root crop and the legumes can reduce the carbon footprint about 80%. That's good. That's a good proof for the diversified crop rotations. This is the second benefit. Okay, the last one is crop rotations can increase the soil health or not, and why? We look at the soil health. We now in our papers we using the word called the soil health. It is originated from the soil quality. It is also a very popular topic among the all over the world now, especially in the Europe and the US now. As beginning, the Cornell University has the CAS calculation for the soil health, but it is just on the book. Not a lot of researchers using it. In our papers, we using the CAS, but we improved the soil health calculation methodologies. We added the weight by PCA, and we got the result is after 6 years rotations, before or later, the crop rotations indeed increase the soil health score, and compared to the traditional one, it has a larger soil health score. I mean, that means diversified crop rotations, if you rotated the legumes or the sweet potatoes as the previous crop before the cereals, it can increase soil health much better. Okay, that's why you maybe ask why it can reduce the greenhouse gas emission, why it can improve the soil health. We give the proofs from the soil microbe part. We call it the microbe mechanism. The firstly, we trying to explore the crop rotations, how to reduce the N2O emissions. We found that the diversified rotations, like you rotated the sweet potato or the legumes, it can produce the different root exudate. This different root exudate can increase in the soil carbon, soil organic carbon, and enhancing the carbon and the nitrogen ratio, improve the ammonia bacterial for the nitrification, and inhibited the denitrification microbe, and then to reduce the N2O emissions. That's from the bulk soil. We supply thinking of the perspective, trying to using the microbe like fungi or bacteria to trying to interpret or explain how the crop rotations can reduce the N2O emissions. And next, we from the bulk soil and the rhizosphere to using the microbe to trying to explain how the crop rotations can improve the soil health. We found that we using different crop rotations, we can we added the crop species, it equals to added the root species. That means the root diversity that can significantly increase the complexity of micro interactions from this network, from this network figures. The numbers of the key species also can enhance the microbe diversity and the community stability, and the benefit microbe abundance to break the barriers of multi-cropping, and then to promote the nutrition cycling and improve the soil health. This is from the bulk soil. So how about the rhizosphere? Rhizosphere is more close to the root, right? Is more related to, is more close to the root and the root exudate. We found the different functions of the microbe, like the bacteria and the fungi. We found the significant difference in the animal acid metabolism, and then we got this analysis, this microbe analysis from the rhizosphere to try to explain the crop rotations can improve the soil health and nutrition cycling from a rhizosphere. We got that paper in Plant Soil is under reviewing. And in summary, the last slide. In this talk, I give an overview of the diversified crop rotations benefits, how it can improve the productivity and the soil quality, reduce the greenhouse gas emissions for the whole system, and how to improve the microbe functions, like some benefit of microbes can promote the carbon or nitrogen cycling. That's all the benefits from the crop species diversity, and resulted the root species root diversities. That's all the benefits for adopting the crop rotations. And in our paper, we also improved the methodology to quantify the soil health, because it's undefined, unquantified the jargon. So it's a hot topic, but Yes, we also trying to using microbeam mechanism to explain how the crop rotations to improve the soil health and reduce the N2O emissions. Last year in the January got a Nature Communication papers. It is a highly cited paper and a hot paper. Until now, 50 months, it already got almost 150 citations now, and also by reported by the FAO website. Yes, thank you for all the colleagues to cited our papers, to give our papers good comments. That's my last slide. Thank you for your attention. Do you have a very clear listening or something like that? Thank you. Hi. Hi.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Do you have a very clear listening to my presentation or not?
Could you switch on your camera so that the speakers can see you?
Okay. Okay.
So, well, any questions for Dr. Xiaolin Yang?
I'm not sure all the audience have the very clear listening for my presentation.